Hello and welcome to a scene for Vampire by Gaslight. Today, Sir Trant goes to meet up with Miss Lovelace to get her report on the samples he has given her. And she has arranged to meet him at a library. And once he arrives, the lady at the counter will point him towards one of the private study rooms.
And Sir Trent will bow his head and say thank you, and then head towards the private study area.
Miss Lovelace, for her part, is not kind of just sitting around waiting. She is busy making notes from a rather thick and technical-looking book. Seems to be discussing electricity and its potential uses. There's another book underneath it which is based on computer science. She'll look up.
Sir Trent will bow his head. Good evening.
Good evening, Sir Trant. I discovered quite a bit from those samples you gave me. Mostly from one, but some from the other.
Good, good. I am sorry there wasn't a third. It seems that thing I was talking about had met final death before I got a sample.
That's quite all right with me. The arrangement is for up to 5. I'm quite happy if there are less than that. Jonas, it seems, has been a naughty boy. He is clearly engaged in diablerie.
Can you tell how many times, or just the fact that it was done once?
Just the fact that it has happened.
Okay.
He also has fed fairly frequently and recently. He has a few residual bonds that I couldn't quite put my finger on, a few unusual connections.
Can you tell, do they seem like they're just old bonds, or could they be a sort of bonds that you don't have any knowledge of?
I can't be entirely certain. Usually, when I find a connection in the blood to another kindred, it is fresh and immediate. You can identify this other individual. You can identify its potency of this connection. This was more of an echo. When a person has a bond which fades over time, there is not an echo left behind. So it will not have been someone who he had a bond with and then grew apart from. But it could be someone that he had a strong bond with some time ago, and that individual died, perhaps, without it breaking cleanly on his side. Or it could be something I'm entirely unfamiliar with. All I can tell you is that there were several, at least 3, perhaps more, of these
Okay.
unusual bonds.
Um, I assume if you wanted to ask a more knowledgeable individual about this, that might increase the price, as it were.
Indeed,
Hmm.
but I doubt that, given the faintness and subtlety of them, we'd be able to discover much more.
Uh,
Perhaps,
I,
perhaps someone more knowledgeable may be able to tell me exactly why these patterns are there. But
that's
who?
that's most that's mostly all I wanted to ask was whether you're I don't know much about the inner workings of your clan. I know that there's usually someone who is in charge of a given group.
That is true of most clans.
Right, but I mean, someone who's especially important in your circles, but not be especially important in other political circles.
Indeed.
Anyway, I thought maybe as your elder, he might be able to inform you of what these bonds are.
I can see about asking him, but his time is, as he often reminds me, significantly more valuable than mine.
Hmm.
You can definitely pick up on a bit of bitterness there.
Hmm. Well.
As for the other sample,
Mm-hmm.
there's a mixture of different animal bloods,
Hmm.
mostly dogs and cats, but some rabbits, a deer, mixed with some dirt, which I'm sure you already knew.
Right.
There was
Uh,
no human blood discovered in this particular sample.
and um, no other type of blood. Interesting. Interesting.
There
Um,
was many different animals, but no human.
hmm.
Like I said, mostly dog and cat.
Dog and cat. Interesting. Yes.
They're often significantly easier to catch than, say, birds.
Right. Oh, one thing, Deb. If if this blood sample happened to be very a one uh, manufactured from the dirt underneath the creature's fingernails, wouldn't it also contain some of Alicia's since she was a not Alicia's Angelique since she was attacked? But if it this is just I just want to make sure you remember that if
It
they
would
did
vary. It would vary.
okay.
Because a lot of Angelique's blood, because of the slowness of the vampire metabolism and how long it takes for like blood to come out, a lot of it would have ended up on the hands more than under the claws.
Okay, good. Uh, I just wanted to. Sorry for the.
No, no, it's fine.
Uh, so, it's sort of like metagaming because I'm like I kind of know where this dirt came from out of character. I just wanted to make sure uh, that it's being represented.
Yep.
So, so
Plus, this was kind of more from deep under the nails
Okay.
because it was kind of scraped from under the nails. So the surface, the more recent stuff, would be less involved in the sample, if you see what I mean.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You're right. Anyway, he'll be thinking about that. So definitely something similar to what was in the forest. But then again, uh, Lovelace, how versed are you in uh, the vampiric mental condition?
It is something that I'm sure we all grow to understand better given time.
Well, if I saw this creature in the woods, he looked as if there was no humanity left in him. I don't have much. I didn't have much. I don't have much interaction with that type of vampire who's lost to the beast, or much in written material. I was just going to ask, do you think such a vampire lost to his beast could uh, sneak in somewhere and steal a young woman without being detected?
No.
Hmm. So,
Whether some, given that you said that you saw a creature there and that you suspect them of being involved in the other one, it is possible it may be a similar vampire, but it could not be the same.
well, true, because he was dead, but, well,
No, I meant similar in other ways, such as
okay.
a similar clan or a similar discipline use or so forth. But no, once you are so far gone to the beast, let's just say I find it highly unlikely that they would sneak anywhere,
Hmm.
let alone to extract someone.
So, and these bonds which you spoke of, they definitely seem like things that were not strong would pull at the blood.
No,
It
that
was
I cannot tell. Like I said, they're like echoes. Either they once were strong and for some reason have broken but not faded, or they were never strong to begin with.
hmm,
My best guess, and it is a guess, is that he was very strongly bonded to people who are now dead.
okay.
But it is a guess. Because even a level 1 bond, if current, would be stronger and different to what I sensed.
Hmm. Um, there have been many questions as to his allegiance at the moment, and I don't know if you know anything about the politics uh, outside of our sect.
No, those of other political leanings not especially my point of interest. I severely doubt that were I to take an interest, it would be viewed positively.
Well, true. Although he'll just shake his head a little like, if we don't know the actions of the enemy, how can we be sure uh, of the enemy? And
Fortunately, that is not a problem I have to deal with.
hmm, well, let's hope that, that position stays true. So, um, well, I had hoped for a bit more information regarding the blood sample on the door. Can you think? Did you think of any ways how to maybe track the missing patient, or at least?
I thought you
Uh,
wanted to try and identify the intruder. I could not think of much that would be of use to identifying your intruder and locating them.
well, the fact is,
Locating the patient, assuming he still has her, and assuming she is still alive, might be easier, I suppose.
if we if we discover where she is, and if she is in the possession of someone else, that would
That would prove nothing regarding your client. He could have given it to whichever individual we may find him with. Find her with, rather. So it will be of no relevance to Jonas if you want to discuss locating her. That is something that we can discuss between us. But whilst I can certainly look into trying to find her, that does nothing for the case.
I had hoped that if we found her, one, if we actually found her, she'd be able to tell us who took her.
This is possible.
Second, if if the girl is taken somewhere that uh, Dr. Jonas had no ties to, it would show that either A, he gave it off to someone, or, which I feel is slightly more possible, someone just happened to come after my ward when these attacks were going on, because the fact is, he would not know what this young lady would look like, and unless he went to the trouble of asking my staff about her, he wouldn't have been able to find out.
Your patient was, no offence, at a mental asylum. I doubt anything that she might have to say regarding her attacker will be treated as evidence. So, as I said, I would not feel that this would be helpful towards your case. So, I would not feel it appropriate to suggest payment from anyone related to the case. If you would like to ask this of me as a personal issue regarding the location of your patient and your investigation of who might have taken her, that we can discuss.
All right.
But it is a separate issue.
Um, Very well. I don't know what you'd have to do. I don't know how much I'd have to ask you to do. Thereby, how much are you willing to invest in this investigation?
I will charge by the items that I need to take part in, beginning with the most likely to bear fruit and then heading towards the less likely ones as necessary, so that within reason your costs should be kept to the minimum. But as I said, if I charge per thing, per item, per action that I choose to do, then we shall discuss costs as we proceed. The first and most likely to bear fruit is to scry for the individual involved. For this, which is a relatively difficult task, I should like an owl and a minor boon.
An owl?
An owl. I will also need an item connected as strongly as possible with the individual which has gone missing. The stronger the emotional and spiritual connection to the item in question, the more likely that my efforts will be successful.
Well, I have kept her living area as it has been since the disappearance. I'd say if you came in and selected something that you feel would probably work, I can probably give you a hint as to the best, what she used the most. But
If you would
her life.
like, I can attempt the ritual in that place.
Okay, that might work. As for the owl, I might be able to get help with this, but there's slight issue. He'll ask what is to become of the owl.
That is my business.
So, alright.
Currently,
Huh?
I have no intention of killing the owl, nor of doing excessive harm to it. If at some point in the future I feel the need to, then such will happen. But that is not my current intention.
I think it best I not ask this individual to help procure you an owl. He he seems to look at animals as equals to humanity, if not particular ones he seems to favor even more than humanity.
Well,
I
that
would,
is your business. As I said, my payment will be an owl and a minor boon.
okay. SG question. How could I possibly find a trapper willing to get an owl?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. It'd be more difficult to get a live owl than a dead owl, but it should be doable.
She did. I'm going to assume that she did differentiate and what said she wanted a live owl.
She didn't specifically say, but it was implied.
Okay. Uh,
Especially by the fact that she said she didn't intend to kill it.
anyway,
If you bring her a dead owl,
she's going to look cross at me.
she's going to look cross, but she will take it as payment. She's just might be a little grumpy, and you kind of you want her on your side.
Yes. Plus, it's not good to have be hexed by a tribute.
No, no, she wouldn't hex you over it because she doesn't care enough about owls for that. She's just out of character. You need a drop of owl blood for this particular ritual.
Oh, okay.
Now, that's not going to kill the owl, but seeing as she needs to get the owl anyway, she might as well have one that she can then keep and use should she want to do this ritual any other time.
Right, right. I was going to say, does the ritual specifically say it has to be fresh owl blood? Because I could see you keeping vials of the stuff.
It doesn't. But, like any other blood, if you don't have blood thinners and so forth, or a specific ritual, um, it will coagulate, and then you can't mix it with the water very well.
Hmm. Anyway,
It needs to be relatively fresh.
so an owl, and I'm going to not. I'm going to say I'm just trying to think of how you would get blood from an owl without A, hurting it, and
She didn't say
B,
she wouldn't hurt it.
no, I'm saying without, I assume she wants to keep it around.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of how to get blood from an owl where A, it wouldn't die, and B, where the owl wouldn't be so cross with you that would- it, it would refuse food from you and that type of thing. But anyway, that's Lovelace's problem, not ours.
Yep.
Anyway, um, okay, I'll set up a trapper and everything, but hmm.
Is there anything else you want to discuss with Lovelace?
Um, if you could, I assume the elder is also more of a. Is he also kind of a teacher of neonates, or are you supposed to teach yourselves?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yep, she gives you a look as if to say, did you really think I was going to answer that question?
He'll just
Also, out of character, both.
anyway. He'll go. Not that I'm prying, but if you wanted to increase your knowledge of the strange bonds, as it were, if you went to him, but with that, he might, unless he asks you for payment, then I'd say forget it, because I'm not sure. Uh, anyway, I won't tell you how to do your internal business. I'm just saying, if he's more knowledgeable, he might know what these weird bonds you encountered are. Uh, I have to say, I don't know if interacting with the sept enemies, as it were, would make these weird bonds. So unless I can clear up what those are, this doesn't look good for Dr. Jonas, my client.
Indeed. As I said, I don't know what they are, and I suspect they might have been left when someone died.
Okay.
But, as you say, they may also be from interactions more recent of an unusual nature.
Hmm. Um, yeah, it seems, yeah, with that, he'll bow his head and go, well, thank you for going over the samples. I may have to call you during the trial with witness to this.
I will be there anyway.
Very good.
I have been chosen as the primogen of our clan.
Oh. Well.
I am reminded that in many ways, such is the position of a glorified secretary.
He'll frown a little and be like, well, at least you get to be a glorified secretary.
She'll smile. Give it time, Sir Trant.
Anyway, well, to an extent, I still am giving my opinion on the issue, as it were. I'm laying down the truth as I understand it, and of course it will be in trying to defend the person, but still, if I can defend him, maybe he is not that guilty, as it were.
I very much think that might have been why you were chosen for the job.
Anyway, so, well, I guess unless I am able to cure an owl beforehand, I will see you at the trial.
I very much look forward to it, Sir Trant.
Good day.
Good day.
And Trent will go back to his asylum and give the Fortescue household another call.
Okay. And Angelique will answer the phone call. Well, she won't answer it herself, but it will be passed along to her.
Alright. Did I have to wait several minutes for it to get to her while she was going to go gotten, or? like last time?
No, because you're not at the house. They've
Well,
had the
no.
phone changed,
Okay, that's
so the phone now goes to their new house.
okay. I'll give I'll give a smile and a little bit of a small talk. So, Miss Rosefont, how are you enjoying the new house, as it were?
It is going well. I'm most satisfied with the entertainment we have been providing each other here. There is
And
quite a deal of room for a grand piano.
ah,
Before we had to make do with an upright.
well, I've never been one for playing the music. Uh, I've although I understand it can be as difficult as any other instrument. Anyway, I was wondering, I got your letter regarding the information I asked for. I was wondering, did you get any names in connection to either of those or anything of that nature?
I received a name for the individual that was removed, but I was told it was unlikely to be his real name.
Hmm.
And the individual who has taken over, I do not quite recall his name. I believe he goes by a nickname. Um, General Fishborn.
General Fishborn. Huh.
But I don't believe he actually has had any part in the military at any point.
Yeah, I
But
have to
then
say,
some members of your clan are rather more eccentric than others.
this is true. I, I'm glad that for the most part I've been able to keep composure. Anyway, um,
He had very little to say about your patient,
hmm,
save for her refusal of food and distrust of many of the staff members.
um, which could probably be pointed at that her distrust of the staff would be from the old staff, and she's hasn't become accustomed to the new staff yet.
No, she seemed distrustful of all of them.
All of them.
All of
Hmm.
them. Of the staff members in general. And
I, I
that
did.
it was decided a relocation might be for the best, seeing as no one was quite certain what might have been done before the change in management.
So the the change of location was decided by the newest individual, not the former individual. I
Yes.
see. Hmm. This does take away some of the mystery, or to, this does make a deeper conspiracy seem a little bit more unlikely, considering her kidnapping. But would he, uh, I know he's not your sire, just your grandsire, and the children of your uh, clan elder. But can you tell me, do you think he had any association with any with this individual called the General Fishborn, or as it is?
Not to my knowledge. I think that the individual now in control was specifically chosen because of his lack of contact with the individual who had preceded him.
And
who had claimed to be a part of the Camarilla for some time.
but it turned out that the individual in the asylum was not.
Indeed, that was why he was replaced forcibly and
Okay.
definitively. I believe the son was involved.
Ooh. Not that it's a pretty picture, mind you, but if I had to choose my end, it would be a quick sword uh, well, through my neck, as it were. Anyway, um, if the unless I'm talking about it, do you think your sire's sire might have had contact with this general fellow, not the guy preceding him?
It's entirely possible.
Hmm.
I do not believe so, but it is entirely possible. We have come from London, and whilst this gentleman was not in our social circles, and London is a large place, it is entirely possible the two may have met each other.
Hmm.
I have never met him, and as I said, it is quite a deal larger than Edinburgh. But anyone who shares the same city has a chance of an encounter.
Well then, Miss Rosemont, the only other thing I can ask you is if you could go over a little bit. I know this would be distressing, but maybe if I have information on the event, the events of your capture, that can help me with the case.
I'm afraid I probably can't tell you much of my capture. I was taken while I was asleep.
Hmm. Um, but you were able to send that man back to us.
Yes. When I
Uh,
woke, he was there, having strapped me in and waiting for his master before going anywhere. I was able to loosen one of the bonds without his noticing, and to strike my grandsire with a sword that my sire had given me. He struck me back, and when I was more securely tied, he told his servant to clean up the place. There was rather a mess. She swallows
so you,
hard when she says that word.
um, I hate to ask it, but I have to be sure of the events. Was it quite a mess because of his preceding uh, experiments, or was it the fact that you had struck him quite powerfully?
There were women chained to the tables in states of
Yes, I
little
understand now.
consciousness, and some of them had been there for a while. He was less concerned with the dead bodies and more with the smell of those who had, being so confined and so incapable of action, soiled themselves.
Hmm.
I was able to gain eye contact with his servant and ordered him to take my sword to my sire.
Hmm. Okay. Well, that does clear up mostly on my end. I was wondering how you'd struck him and been found yourself in that state, but well, now I know. Um,
Perhaps the fight might have gone more evenly were I not mostly restrained at the time.
yes. Hmm. So, is there? I know you probably have no particular uh, enjoyment for this person, considering he is charged with your attempted destruction and the fact of what we found him. But is there anything you can think of that might explain his particular obsession with uh, women who look a little bit like you and something about wings?
I believe he intended to make some modifications upon me to convert me into some form of artwork by his reasoning, perhaps viewing it as being a tribute to our clan.
Hmm.
I believe that the women he took were practice.
Given some of the things I've seen, like his animals and the, the beasts, I can't understand why the uh, he needed to practice on women. So anyway, it's more of a
From
you.
my understanding,
Uh huh.
simply from observing his actions, which I would rather not discuss in more detail, but observing what he did with one of the women, I believe it is rather more difficult to create limbs from nothing than it is to alter them.
Hmm.
And whilst changing arms into wings, I believe he would not have needed the practice for. Creating wings as if for an angel would be, well, he seemed to be incapable of it, at least successfully.
Hmm. Well, that does explain it in a bit better to me.
As I
Well
said,
done.
I would rather not discuss the details of how he attempted to make those wings, but I believe that is why he needed the practice.
Hmm.
Aside from which, if he wanted it to be a piece of art, as callous as this may sound, every great portrait, every landscape which is so greatly admired in the halls of various galleries is preceded by sketches.
This is true. And given the fact that you would have become uh, an artwork, which I assume would mean that he would want people to view this if he were to actually have destroyed you, his artwork would not have been actually able to be seen. Would you agree with this statement?
I think it depends very much on your opinion of destruction. For all that I do not think that he would have killed me,
Mm-hmm.
destroying me was quite within his capabilities. After all, if I'm to be an artwork, my nature, my personality, my thoughts, everything that is me beyond my body would be entirely unnecessary.
Hmm. It's true. And again, as I understand the law, I'm not sure whether that would be covered, but that is for the prince to decide. Anyway, I'm sorry if that seems callous, but the
I understand
Duchess,
you're doing your job.
right? And anyway, um, so did it look like any of the bodies had been removed? As in, did he seem to only have practiced on those those 12 women, or intended to?
I don't know.
Hmm. Sorry, it's just the fact you've been the only person to have spent
I
any
couldn't
of
even
the.
see some of the women
Hmm. Uh,
from my position, them being behind me.
anyway, um, I just had he said anything to you beforehand that you can think of that might explain uh, why he decided to focus on you as a subject of his art?
He didn't exactly speak to me so much as at me,
Hmm.
more about himself, more to himself as well. He spoke about proving to someone, I don't know who, but proving that he can make art. Whether he was talking about the Duchess or someone else, some woman, proving to her that he was worthy, that he could create art as good as hers or better.
Has, as a member of the Fortescue household, has there ever been any tension between the Duchess and uh, Dr. Jonas around about his artistic bent?
On occasion.
Hmm.
Not enough that I think it likely to have come to this, but he was clearly mad. And I do not know what went between them when we were elsewhere. Indeed, he spoke very little to me in general.
Hmm.
I do know that his medicines were not viewed as the height of artistic endeavour.
Hmm.
It is very possible that he may have wanted to prove himself to his sire, but such proof was definitively not sought. Whether he believed that to be the case or not, is rather more difficult to establish.
Hmm. Well, I see. I given his mental state and everything, I can see uh, why you've. Uh, yeah. Anyway, um, if that is all you can think of about the interactions with your family, please ask Christian to let me know if he can think of anything that he said or did that might indicate if he was speaking to maybe about the Duchess or someone else, because I have I have had I I have been informed that he may have had said bond that he may have formed bonds with others. Hmm.
Very true. As I said, I don't know.
Wait, he, this is an odd question, but please bear with me. Uh, have you seen your grandsire drink anyone's blood? Uh, maybe the Duchess's?
She raises an eyebrow.
Well, I can definitely hear that over the phone, probably. I know
Oh,
this is
yeah. Sorry,
I
if
know this
over
is
the
a
phone, I
very
forgot that.
I know this is a very strange question, but given how old they are, they may have grown apart in the blood, but I'm just trying to establish whether maybe one of these connections is an old connection with uh, his sire.
I don't believe that they have shared blood recently.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I hope. I assume I'll see you at the trial as well.
I will be available if you want me as a witness, which I presume you will.
Uh,
But I don't believe I'm invited into the room.
ah, I see. I didn't. I don't know much about the inner workings of. This is going to be my first kindred trial. I take it there is only going to be those directly involved with the Primogen, and the prince's judge is going to be there, and
The prince invites who he chooses to be involved.
I see.
He need not invite the Primogen Council, he need not invite anyone at all. It is his decision, but he has invited specific people
Well,
and has asked others in specific to be available in a nearby room. There is to be a gallery where we may observe if we remain quiet.
I was also going to say it is his prerogative whether to hold a trial at all.
Indeed.
Anyway, I would I anyway I hope to see you there, and well, for your great sires or your great grandsire's sake, I hope it goes the way she hopes.
I believe currently she mostly hopes that it goes.
Hmm. That was kind of the impression I got. Oh, one more thing. I was just thinking about it. Do you know much about uh, how old is your great or your grandsire? Uh,
I believe a number of centuries.
and given the time period where they would grow up, I assume he had to fight in a couple of battles, maybe?
Hmm. It is highly probable he would have had to at some point, but he is not a soldier.
Hmm.
He has always been a medical man, to the best of my knowledge. It is unlikely he would be on the front lines.
Hmm.
Near them, certainly. On them, less so.
Brings up an interesting question. But this is a personal question for the that to be asked the Duchess, and I'm not sure that it will come up on to why the doctor was embraced. And uh, anyway, I will try and contemplate this, and if you can think of anything that you feel will help me uh, one way or the other, um, please don't don't hesitate to call.
Of course, Sir Trant. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
For all that I hope that he ends up being delivered to the sun, I do hope that you are able to impress people with your attempt.
Well, I am pretty sure that I cannot uh, completely rule out the sun, but the for his acts currently, that I will at least be able to point out that maybe people are jumping the gun.
You'll do what you
Anyway,
have to do.
mhm. Anyway, uh, please have a good evening. And with that, he'll hang up the phone.
And unless you have anything else in mind, there the scene will end.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for watching.